My wife cheated on her AP too, so he called me because he wants to get revenge. I nuked them all. So, where do I begin? This is one of those stories that you'd expect to read in a trashy gossip magazine. But nope, this is my life now. I guess I should start with a little bit of background. My name's John, and I've been married to my wife, Kate, for 12 years. We have 2 amazing kids together, and up until recently, I thought we had a pretty solid marriage. But boy, was I wrong. It all started with a phone call. I was at work, minding my own business, when I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Now, I usually don't answer these, but for some reason, I decided to pick up this time. The guy on the other end introduced himself as Mike and proceeded to inform me that he had been sleeping with my wife. Yeah, not the kind of news you want to hear while you're at work, or anywhere for that matter. Anyway, as if that wasn't enough, Mike drops another bomb on me. Apparently, my cheating wife had been cheating on him too. Now, at this point, I was so angry that my vision was blurry and my hands were shaking. But as Mike continued to talk, I realized that he wasn't just calling to gloat or rub it in my face. He was angry too, and he wanted to get revenge on Kate for playing him like she did. So yeah, how in the hell do you think I reacted to that? I freaked the hell out on him and told him I was going to kill him and everyone else in the world. Obviously, I was just reacting to all of these layers at once, and had no intention of actually killing anyone. Hurting them, yes. Killing them, no. So I tried to keep working, but that wasn't going to happen. So I excused myself from my desk and walked around campus for a bit. As much as I was pissed off at Mike for sleeping with my wife, I couldn't help but feel I could use this to my advantage. We were both played by the same woman, and now we both wanted justice. So, against my better judgment, I agreed to help him catch Kate in the act with her third lover, whom we will temporarily call lover number 3. My God, I really hated my life during all of this. Anyway, our plan was simple. Mike would keep tabs on Kate and let me know when she was going to see lover number 3. He'd know she wasn't going to see him because he'd be waiting for my call to confirm. But first, I needed to find out who lover number 3 was, and if he had a wife or girlfriend. After a little bit of digging, I found out that lover number 3 was a contractor named Dave, who also happened to have a drinking problem. And yes, he had a wife. Her name was Sarah, and she was a successful lawyer who had been struggling to hold her family together despite her husband's issues. I decided to reach out to Sarah and tell her everything. After all, she had a right to know what was going on. At first, Sarah didn't believe me. She thought it was some kind of cruel joke. But when I provided her with proof, texts and pictures that Mike had sent me, she realized I was telling the truth. And like me, she was furious. So we decided to join forces and get revenge on our cheating spouses together. The plan was simple. Mike would continue to monitor Kate's whereabouts, and he'd let me know when she was going to meet up with Dave. Sarah and I would then arrange a little surprise for them at the rendezvous point, a cabin by the lake that Sarah and Dave owned and one that Dave had been using for their trysts. We'd confront them, catch them in the act, and give them a taste of their own medicine. It was perfect. So, the day finally came. Mike called me and said that Kate was planning to meet up with Dave at the cabin later that night. Sarah and I agreed to meet up a few hours beforehand to go over the plan one last time. We were both nervous, but there was also a sense of excitement in the air. We were about to take control of our lives and put these cheaters in their place. And not so poor Mike was about to be blindsided as well. As the evening approached, Sarah and I drove to the cabin. Mike met us there in his car. Keep in mind that this was the first time I was seeing Mike in person. I wasn't nice to him. I wouldn't look at him for fear I would become enraged and ruin the plan by busting his face right there. So I kept it together and we parked our cars a little distance away from the cabin and made our way there on foot, careful not to be seen. The anticipation was killing us, but we knew that if we pulled this off, it would be worth it. Dave and my wife were already inside the cabin and for long enough for the action to be happening. That is when Sarah and I gave each other a nod, took a deep breath, unlocked the door, and stormed in, Mike tagging along behind us. There they were, completely nude and going to town. The look on their faces when they saw all 3 of us standing there was priceless. Kate's face went white as a sheet, and Dave's eyes widened in shock. They knew they were caught, and there was no way out. But we weren't done yet. Sarah and I decided to add a little twist to our revenge plan. I had told Mike that we needed to teach this Dave a lesson and that it was going to get physical. I had him so amped up before this moment that it didn't take much to push him over the edge and to instigate a fight between Mike and Dave. Fueled by anger and betrayal, they started throwing punches at each other, completely ignoring Kate, who was sobbing in the corner. While the 2 men were going at it, I took the opportunity to serve Kate with divorce papers. Sarah had helped me draw them up, and they were ironclad. There was no way Kate was going to get away with this without losing everything, our house, our kids, and her reputation. The look of defeat in her eyes as through the papers in her face was one of the most satisfying moments of my life. I told Kate to get her ass outside, away from the madness. Sarah informed me there were no firearms on site and I knew Mike wouldn't be packing. He was stupid, but not stupid enough to kill someone. Just stupid enough to fall for our trap. Sarah called the cops when we got outside, reporting a domestic disturbance at the cabin. Mike and Dave were both arrested and taken to jail for assault. Now that it was safe, I told Kate I didn't want to be around her and to find her own ride home. So she had to call her sister to come pick her up, and it took her hours to get there. She was forced to sit in that cabin, surrounded by the wreckage of her lies and betrayal, and reflect on the choices that led her to that moment. It was poetic justice, and I couldn't have been happier with the outcome. In the end, Sarah and I both got what we wanted, revenge on the people who had hurt us the most. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't pretty, but it was worth it. We helped each other through the ensuing divorce proceedings, and although we never became romantically involved, we forged a bond that will last a lifetime. As for Kate, Mike, and Dave, well, they got what was coming to them. Kate lost everything in the divorce, and her reputation in our small town was ruined. Mike and Dave both spent time in jail for their actions that night and suffered the consequences of their own betrayals. It was a harsh lesson for all of them, but maybe, just maybe, they'll think twice before hurting someone like that again. So, that's my story. It's not something I ever thought I'd have to live through, let alone share with the world. But maybe, by putting it out there, someone else in a similar situation will find the strength to stand up for themselves and take back control of their life. Because no one deserves to be cheated on and lied to like that. And if you find yourself in that situation, remember, you're not alone and you're not powerless. You can fight back and reclaim your life. Sweet Jesus Almighty, that was hard to keep up with. Dare I ask how he and Sarah did? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threats.